Today I want to talk about government contracts and what that is. It's worth mentioning that I haven't done any business with the government yet. I spent a lot of time doing research of how to do business with the government, but myself, I haven't done any business with the government. I haven't sold any product or service to the government. Every time the government is looking to buy any particular product or services, they need to advertise that particular opportunity online for everyone to see. And you can find that opportunity published on particular platforms. There are a number of platforms available depending where you are. I have done research with regards to US, where you can find those contracts in US, in UK and Europe. That's mainly where I was focusing on. So I do understand a lot of how those platforms work and how you can take part in competition process and the different programs, and how you can perhaps take part, and if you are successful, win contracts with perhaps selling products or services to the government. If I had to set expectations, from not my personal experience, but from others within the industry who are doing business with the government, the process just to set expectations can take to begin winning contracts. Hopefully, it takes less time, but usually it can take up to 3 years to understand the process and perhaps begin winning some of the contracts and all intricates of how to perhaps submit proposals and how to be eligible, how your company can be eligible to actually take part in some of those competitions and hopefully winning those contracts. So all process is very complicated, unnecessarily complicated. It's just because some of the contracts and reading those contracts and your company and all of that unnecessary is complicated. I believe that's my personal opinion. I have published a journal. You can find it on my company's website. It's a journal. It has offer a lot of information with regards to dictionary, accounting, overall some of the areas that you should focus on daily. Making notes, keeping track of your time, making most of your day, your time. Some of the key areas would be things to do, breaking down in perhaps just the three areas: overall project management, how you approach overall week, personal projects, learning experience, and some of those areas where you should focus on: physical activity, health metrics, time management, self-assessment. Just some out of all of the areas that everyone should focus across the day, and the way how it's been structured for everyone to improve their overall time management and make the most of their time. Uh, Feel free to reach out to me if you would like to receive a signed copy. First 100 people will receive the signed copy from me. Thank you. Once you have a company, you can approach or register on different platforms and take part in competitive process where you can look at different products or services that have been published, and the different organizations, government organizations are looking to buy particular product or services. It can be different services, different work. It can be construction projects. It can be a particular thing. So recently, there were a lot of contracts with regards to buying something like gloves, sanitizers, all kind of things that government would buy or agree to sign a contract to buy a particular amount of products for a particular amount of time for a particular amount of sum of money, and usually the government organization would set a standard for what would be required, and they would be shopping for deals basically. So that means they would look for different companies to submit their proposals, and they would pick most likely, but it depends. Usually, it's within the contract or based on what they would decide to pick your company over other companies. Even that process is very complicated depending on the platform, right? Because some companies would in Europe would value perhaps price. They prioritize price depending on the perhaps country, different organizations. They prioritize price over quality. Where some companies, depending, for example, in Germany, for some reason, they prioritize depending on the services. They might prioritize quality over price. So when you writing your proposal, you need to write it accordingly to what the organization is looking to purchase. If they're looking for very high quality, if they're looking for perhaps a best price, and okay quality, I guess if they're buying in bulk, and they wouldn't necessarily focus too much on the quality. It's overall process can be very complicated, but I would definitely recommend if I want to try to at least taking a look at that. And I believe that not that many people are actually doing it. Perhaps there should be more people doing that. But overall, all the process can be very complicated, and I can understand that a lot of people might think that it's a waste of time if that's the only thing that you might be doing for a very long time, looking and reading some of those contracts, submitting your proposals according to that contract, and sometimes your contract, it could be a lot of waste of time. Basically, that's where I'm going with that. If it's a waste of time for a very long time, you're reading a contract, it can be 50 pages or so, then you're writing your proposal according to that contract, and you need to make sure that you do not make any mistakes. And if that proposal not necessarily will be picked from all the pool, it can be a waste of time and a discouraging process. But I believe that there might be a lot of opportunities, especially if you get over time, you might get very good at what you're doing. I guess it's just a proposal process overall. Overall process could potentially be breaking down in the beginning stage of that would be market research, where you would do market research in particular field or expertise where you're offering your product or service within that area. Perhaps if you begin where your company is based, and from there perhaps you might want to do research into other countries, regions. That would be initial stage of market research. Then you might want to register on different platforms and obtain necessary documents that your company approved to take part in competitive process. And then you might want to focus on particular opportunities uh, or opportunities then you can fulfill, contracts that you can close. Review overall review solicitation or carefully review all the documents, especially if those documents in different languages. It's never too easy, I guess. All the process and understanding all the documents take your time, especially if it's a lot of pages and overall process. You don't want to get into a very complicated contract for which you won't necessarily be able to get out of. Yeah, just one of those things. Prepare and submit proposal. Once you identify the opportunity, you might want to submit proposal, express your interest in that particular opportunity. Then you would take, if applicable, you might want to take part in pre-bid meeting where a particular organization just want to assess or assess market and what opportunities are available before beginning with the initial stage of proposal. There's an option for pre-bid. Overall, from there, you might want to submit proposal. Once you submit proposal, there would be particular times and dates uh, to which your proposal to be accepted. Overall proposal evaluation, that would be government agencies, so that would compare or proposals. So it depends. It varies, but it depends in what kind of contracts they are. Usually, they would say any reasons. For example, if a company is based in UK, it won't necessarily be able to submit proposals for federal government in US just on criteria. So we read those criteria first before even going into proposal. Worth mentioning. Overall selection and award of the contract. Uh, uh, and from there, contract execution, fulfillment of the contract. And yeah, that's pretty much gist of it. And I would like to perhaps encourage more people try your expand your horizon. Perhaps try looking at some of those government contracts and see what you can find there. It might be requirement too much of your time if that's something that you like to do, but other than that, yeah, it's one of those areas. Thanks for watching and see you next one.